Hi everybody, welcome to another M13 draft. I'm Chris Allen, Psychic Battle on Twitter, drafting for wizardsnorman.com, and we've been fortunate enough to open up a sweet bomb mythic that will hopefully auto-win some games for us. So we're gonna take that. We passed a Searing Spear, Mark of the Vampire, as some of the more playable cards in that pack. Probably a Searing Spear is going to go to our left, which is something to think about, although red-green is such a good archetype in this format that if we get past some playable red cards, I'm definitely not above cutting it from here on out, despite that signal. Um, just in general, after taking a green card like that, I think green red and green black are two of the strongest archetypes in this, and I would actually say green black would be my go-to. And we got past a Rancor, which is a really strong signal. Other contenders in here, of course, probably the Pacifism, Crimson Muck Raider, though it's very, of course, pigeonholing. But this is an excellent signal, and combined with our first pick, we're going to be well on our way. And also, this gives us the freedom to not be too restricted yet. We can maybe go a little bit longer taking green cards before we commit to a second color. But with a bomb like this, we can also just have the virtue of taking cards that have the goal of making the game go longer. Things like if we're in black, giant scorpions. If we're in our native green color here, deadly recluse. There we go. The quality of our picks has declined significantly, unfortunately. Here, I would say our options are Liliana Shade, Encrust, possibly Safe Passage. I would honestly put Encrust and Safe Passage on the same tier of pseudo situational removal. Liliana Shade is a black commitment, but it's a black card that I'm very happy to take. It's powerful. It plays well with our Hydra. It also fits into the game plan of, let the game go long and play a sweet card that will win it by itself. Though blue green, because I'm still thinking about that Encrust. Blue green is not an archetype I've had a chance to test. Oh, fourth pick, Murder. I I I swear I'm in an 8-4, guys. I'm not messing around with you. And as a result, we are going to take the premium removal that is going at fourth pick. It could be because I'm doing this draft relatively late at night. It's 11:50 right now. And I've been hearing people talk about this phenomenon of late night drafts having absolutely bizarre consequences, but that doesn't actually make sense to me. It feels like your afternoon draft or early evening draft when you've got the casual guy who can actually sit down and get in a game of Magic that you might see phenomenon like this. I'd assume the people doing it at this hour are the people who are pretty good at it, or who at least think they are and invest a fair amount of time in it. Options here are a second Liliana Shade, which is underwhelming, a Spiked Baloth, which is straight up bad by virtue of trading with every 2-power creature in the game. Your 4-drop is going to trade with their 2-drop, and you're going to be miserable. Yevva's Force Mage is decent. Especially, maybe we'll pick up a late Roaring Primadox or something. Be able to actually capitalize on the ability, or it's a creature that can wear our Rancor. Here we have a blue ring. We don't have any blue creatures, so not that exciting. Although I always like a chance to get these late pick rings, because they're just excellent final cards to round out your deck. Titanic Growth, but again, I don't know if we're that aggressive yet. We'll take the removal, because it is often exactly that, especially early game. And it's sometimes you're only out to certain incredibly frustrating cards like Fogbank, my Arch-Nemesis. Here we continue to see playable black cards coming around even this late. We'll take the Sign in Blood. We're not a Dark Favor deck, at least at this juncture. We don't have any Tormented Souls or cheap 1-drops. Although with a Rancor, Tormented Soul is certainly a card that I would be open to taking. And especially if that one that we saw earlier wheels, 110% I'll take it and run with it. Sign in Blood number 2 versus our first Mind Rot are the contenders here. The Tomb is a trap. We don't have enough removal to make the Tomb deck. I like drawing cards. I'm going to take the Sign in Blood. I don't know if that's exactly right, but if we want a Mind Rot, we're not going to have any trouble picking up a late Mind Rot. And card draw is just wonderful, and this format's not that fast that you're always going to get punished for it like you would in some others. Duress or generic fatty. It's a foil, and some nonsense about signaling our colors. Hopefully we're in green, although our second pick, Rancor, has not been followed up by that much. And if we're in green, we're going to have no shortage of huge creatures that are way better than that. Both to tell the person to our left that they should really be in red, and because we have Primordial Hydra, I think Disentomb is actually the pick here. Like, with incredible bombs like that are actually still, somewhat vulnerable to removal, I think it's perfectly reasonable to play, a Regrowth or a Disentomb in a deck like this. There could be some strange world where I play a Ranger's Path. And again, hopefully get the people to my left in the right colors. Serpent's Gift versus Cleaver Riot. Both of these fall in the category of cards I am not likely to play, but we'll take the one in our colors. They can have a Wall of Fire. I will take the Clock of Omens. I will, however, take the Vile Rebirth. There could be some bizarre scenario where that sees some play. So let's do a cost sort here. I've got a bomb. I don't have a lot else though. I have a Yeva now though. That's sweet. I can flash in my Primordial Hydra at the end of turn and immediately have it double and get in there. I think that's pretty clearly the pick here. Other sweet cards in this pack are, if it wasn't here, I probably would take the Bloodhunter Bat. We haven't seen any other Timberpack Wolves yet, but unfortunately. But this is an excellent card to pick up for this deck, because especially with things like this Yeva's Force Mage, hopefully we can get some instant speed shenaniganery going on. Quirion Dryad. I That's really tempting, but that's a trap. First off, I don't think green is going to be our splash color, and that means the majority of spells we cast are not going to trigger it. I think the real cards for us here are either Prey Upon or Ring of Colonia, and Prey Upon is probably going to be a significantly higher pick for us than the Ring, because it is removal. Options here are Beast Tracker, Evolving Wilds, or I guess at this point I would probably pick up the second Liliana Shade. It's worth pointing out that right now the Beast Tracker does not fetch any creatures. However, I really want some Deadly Recluses or Sentinel Spiders or Primordial, not Primordial, the 3/3 hexproof guy. So I'm going to take this and, in the hope that we pick up some creature that it's applicable to. However, if you give me the option to take it again, do I want a second one? Like, Spike Baloth is just, it's terrible. I don't want to play it. Like, maybe if I have some Mark the Vampires, it's good, but no deck in this format's going to be wanting for 4-drops. I think I'm going to take... It's between Blight, Force Mage, or Beast Tracker. I could see matchups where I would want a second Crippling Blight, but Beast Tracker's too good, assuming I get creatures it actually works with. Okay, our options in this pack are Giant Scorpion or Arbor Elf. And Giant Scorpion gets... Just double checking here. It doesn't have to be a green creature, so we could grab Giant Scorpion with our Beast Trackers. But Arbor Elf is ramping hopefully into something bigger is going to be an important part of this deck's game plan. Arbor Elf, especially the first one, is like, if it's in your opener, you have so much more power and so much more aggression that it's worth taking over the card that is usually going to be a little more consistent. Here, I think we want the bear, especially since we could get more Timberpack Wolves, to the point where I think that makes this a significantly better pick than the second Crippling Blight. I'm going to hide that Vile Rebirth because we are under no condition playing it. We're doing okay for playables. We're getting some cards passed to us that hopefully the color signals have been sent reasonably well. Mark of the Vampire is sweet for this. We're going to have to be careful when we play it, but hopefully we can do some shenanigans with it. One of my favorite plays is how, play some sort of beefy 4-drop, say this Yeva, and next turn untap Mark of the Vampire, use our Prey Upon on one of their blockers and attack, and you can set up disgusting, 10 or 12 point life swings with plays like that. Here, huge fat creature or 3/1 Exalted. I believe 3/1 Exalted is what we are looking for right now. Again, we can always get huge creatures, and while that was a little bit better of one than most, it not significantly so. Here, Bloodthorn Vampire is a good card, but we don't have any token generation. And it'd only be great if we Rancor it and sack our team and they have nothing. Plummet is a really good sideboard card, especially since so far we cannot interact with a creature with flying other than with murder. Though the lack of Deadly Recluses so far is a concern to me. We tabled the green ring though, and still we're not the deck for it. I'll take the powerful sideboard card. Now we get to take our generic fat creature. Somebody can... They can... I'll take the Divine Favor. I thought about picking the Forest, but maybe they're black-white with Tormented Souls, and they slam their Divine Favor on their guy turn 2. I'll keep the Blood Vampire not hidden, just so it's something that we can think about. But like I said, I would be surprised right now if it made the final cut. And having this Ring of Colonia is going to want to make us prioritize picking up, hopefully, as many green creatures as we can. A, because they're generally pretty well costed, and B, because they can become huge and win the game by themselves now. All I want in this pack, is another sweet, constructed playable, theoretically in some cases, green, rare, or mythic. Garrick would be fine. And, it's Primordial Hydra number 2. I've got the worst luck. I wanted a Garrick. Well, when life gives you huge, trampling, exponential growth lemons, you take them and kill your opponent. Other than that, especially now that I have 2 Primordial Hydras, acceleration is something that I really want. I'm going to want Arbor Elves and Farseeks. That Acidic Slime in that pack would have been nice too. But we have a plan, and it involves surviving to cast Primordial Hydra. And maybe we've cut green so effectively, Boundless Realms. Think how big we could make our Primordial Hydras. Huge. 3 options here. The Arbor Elf, Primal Hunt Beast, maybe Evolving Wilds, or we could get, greedy and take the Flames of the Firebrand. And I know I said Arbor Elf is something that I want in this deck, but I also really like Primal Hunt Beast. Especially since I'm definitely playing this Mark of the Vampire. I don't know if Arbor Elf number 2 versus Primal Hunt Beast, what's the right call here specifically, because it's not Flames of the Firebrand. That's just greedy, and we don't need to be greedy to win with this deck. I like having the Hunt Beast, especially with the ability to search it up with the infinite number of beast trackers we have. At this point, we could take not a lot here. Honestly, Revive would be decent. We've got a Disentomb, which is going to be functionally equivalent most of the time. But Revive would be a slight upgrade, and that we could grab back our Prey Upon or our Rancor if we lost it somehow. It's either that or take the second Naturalize for the board, but a scenario where I'm going to want a second Naturalize seems exceedingly unlikely. We'll grab the Revive, upgrade our Disentomb. Here, a second Timberpack Wolf is something I'm happy with. We need to survive to the late game. We can do... We're going to finally take a Titanic Growth. We're not going to run this Tormented Soul. It only combos with the Mark of the Vampire. We could take Walking Corpse as an additional bear. I think at this juncture I'm willing to take the Mind Rot just as an option, really, more than anything else. Board it in against some sort of slower control deck. Duskmantle Prowler it's expensive. I don't know if we need the Exalted. I'm gonna take the generic bear. Ring of Zathrid. Could take the black ring. We don't actually have very many black creatures. I don't think that's making the cut. 1, 2, 3, 3. Um, and the regeneration is nice, but not that great. We still have no way to deal with flyers. I hate to say it, but we're going to be boarding in those plummets a lot if they're not main deck. Like, it's strange too, because I mean we've been getting playable green cards, just not those. I guess somebody else is splashing those or doesn't want these hunt beasts or wolves, but's taking those over them. At this juncture, I will take the huge creature. And what do I not want to play against? I think I could lose to the Mog Flunkies in the Flinthoof Boar deck. I'll cut one. I'll take one of those from somebody. And I might actually play the second Liliana Shade. Infinite sideboard cards. We are set on having answers to artifacts and flyers. Just not main deck playable answers to artifacts and flyers. Well, this draft has been a little bit awkward. Like, we've gotten some powerful cards and some extraordinarily, like the late pick murder, that I'm wondering if I've just read the signals wrong as a result. Because, like, I think we had to go green just because of the cards we opened, but then the support for green has been very inconsistent, despite the fact that we cut it pretty thoroughly, and we got past that pack 1, pick 2 Rancor. But we'll see how it comes out in the wash and see the power level of our opponent's decks. We'll pull down the things that we're definitely playing. I'm only going to do one Beast Tracker right now. I'm probably going to play 2, but I want to see how it looks just with that. Run the Revive, Timber Pack Wolves, Prey Pawn. One Shade for now, till I see where we stand. 2 Sign in Bloods, though. So at this point we are at 20 playables. I've got to admit, I'm tempted, especially with the Revive, to run a main deck Plummet. I don't know if that's the best call, but we are incredibly weak to flyers right now. If they play a turn 2 Welkin turn, like the clock is tremendous. We're gonna have a hard time with it. We have to draw our Murder or Mark of the Vampire to have a chance of meaningfully racing. I say that. We've got a Prey Upon also. We have 3 decent pseudo answers. Playing our Crippling Blight. So I need to fill in two more cards. Our Beast Trackers get Hunt Beast or is that it? I think so. What else has abilities that are triggered by it? It doesn't hit Exalted, because Exalted is not a very green ability. There we go. No, it doesn't. Like, because these don't actually have trample when the Beast Tracker's looking for them, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I think since I only have one creature that Primal Hunt Beast can get, I don't think I even play that. Like, that's a 2/1 for 3 if this card is in my hand. and it's not like a toolkit where I can... Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. What am I saying? It can... No, it can't get creatures with flash either, though. Can't even get Yeva. Yeah, I, we got the sweet enabler card, but not the things to use it with. That's awkward. Well, at that point, I am gonna run a plummet main, and yeah, because Vastwood Gorger doesn't have trample. Um, I'll bring in the Mind Rot. And to round out our curve, we can take generic huge guy, or I think our other contender is perhaps the second Liliana Shade, which I'm not excited about. I think we'll take one huge guy, especially because I mean we've got rings. Like we just if we can survive to the late game, we already have infinite ways of killing them. Like I don't think that's what we want. I think we want a cheaper card that we can get out there that's actually going to keep us alive. But on further inspection, we don't have any cards that meet that criterion. Awkward. I'm not running Plummet number 2, and I'm not playing a main deck Naturalize. That's going to be dead way too often. I hate to say it, but we're kind of squeaking for playables at that juncture, so we'll put that in there and see what happens. This recommends a 9-8 split. I do have Sign and Bloods that I would like to cast. I realize casting them on turn 2 is probably going to be pretty optimistic, but that's okay. 9-8 seems perfectly reasonable. We will submit that, and I will see you all for round 1.